Hello and welcome to the Friday Ask Me Any Amazon Question. My name is Stephen Pope and I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. I take any question on PPC, SEO, design, and catalog management. So it's my pleasure to talk to you today. Appreciate the donations and the memberships that make me want to show up. So I appreciate that, guys. Thanks, Cool Peeps. Question from Cool Peeps. Hi, Stephen. Happy Power Puff Stephen Day. She just throws the compliments on. It gets me to answer her questions first. Currently, 46% of revenue comes from PPC, and tacos is 20%. I'm just checking to make sure my sound levels are good. I think I am good. Is that healthy? Any recommendations? So I would say, since I know your account, I actually know a little bit more than just the generic account situation. You're very new with your brand. And so having half your income coming from PPC really isn't that big of a problem, in my opinion. Tacos is high. That's true at 20%, but it's not unusual for a brand to be at 20% in their early stages of their brand on Amazon. So I think it's totally cool. I think you're totally fine there. I'm not concerned at all. I would say, once you get into your busy season, you want to hopefully see that tacos go down. I don't know if, right now is the worst it's going to be during the year. I think right now is pretty rough. So in theory, it should get better as time goes on this year. So I think you should probably shoot for 15% tacos by the summer. And I think that's realistic. I really do. We are thinking about bundling our SKUs together as a starter kit. Is that something you'd advise? Any watch outs? Thank you. Couple of things you could do easily today. Virtual bundles. I might be able to demonstrate what a virtual bundle is. And I do have a video on them. Anytime I'm always trying to find something on YouTube for myself, I always just Google My Amazon Guy plus the problem. So I just typed in virtual bundle, My Amazon Guy, and right here, you can see some of our videos on what we do to create bundles. About a year ago, I talked about how effective they are. They're not, but so I don't think virtual bundles is a real solution, but it is a fast solution. You could also kit them together physically, and your sales on that are going to be minimal. So what I would do is give it a slight discount, like pass on the shipping savings, but only ship in like 5% of your run rates, because they're not going to move that much for whatever reason. Our restocking limit increased significantly in the past few weeks. We saw that on all accounts, which is generally good. Do you think it's here to stay for now? The restocking limit has nothing to do with individual account success, in my opinion. It has a lot more to do with overall Amazon's capacity. So at any point in time, Amazon could get overwhelmed. There could be a strike. Maybe there's a union problem, and you see all kinds of things would happen. But right now, I think they're at a lull. So I don't think restock limits are going to be a problem anytime soon. That, of course, could change at any point in time if there's another lockdown or there's another big event. We have a lot of geopolitics are going on right now. All bets are off. But honestly, I think if we just maintain the status quo, we'll probably see no problems right up until maybe July, as early as July, but not for sure, and probably definitely no later than October. I think October we'll see harsh restock limits return. So those are some great opener questions to get us started today. We got a super sticker coming in from Zeke. Thank you for the donation. I set my FBA return settings as dispose. Is there any chance that Amazon will refurbish them? Typically, no. You have to enable the refurbishment, so I don't think that'll be a problem for you. So no concern there. I lost my BSR back in 2020. It's not bad because I'm off the radar, so no one can tell how many units I've been selling each month. Are there any cons to losing BSR? Haven't noticed any decreases in sales. So I think what Zeke is saying is that their physical BSR tracker is not showing up on their account. And that is a bad thing. That is generally a concern. Zeke, typically, Now this is 2 years, right? So like your 2 years of history is going to trump what I'm about to say. But typically, a lack of BSR is usually a bad catalog problem that you want to resolve immediately by resetting your category, by filing a brand registry ticket, by putting in a template upload and doing those things. So that's generally like how I would go about trying to solve that. If you've had this problem for 2 years and your sales are fine, though, I wouldn't listen to me if I were you. but if it was my account, I would definitely want to solve for that. Very good question coming in from Zeke today. Karen, thank you for the donation and the super sticker. Let's see if I can find your question. Feel free to do the donations next to the sticker. It helps. Point 1, to change a product title via flat file upload, do I close and delist for 24 hours? No, this is not needed. I've never once had to actually wait the full 24 hours. Amazon says you do. I've never had to. And then upload the file with every field entered and have it set to update. I think you can safely just do the template file update by yourself. The reason Amazon says to wait the 24 hours is to let the catalog reset. But from almost every single time I've ever done this for myself, for my clients' products, whatever, on the brands, typically speaking, I have found that it's generally a problem on Amazon's side, not on yours, which is causing you to file this to begin with or float the template upload. And if that's the case, they have to be the ones that fix it. So a template upload won't generally fix it. So that's what I think. Brand registry tickets are really, really powerful. If you haven't been filing brand registry tickets, you're really missing out. Point 2, upload the flat file with the new desired title entered and have it set to partial update. I think you could do a full update. What a lot of people don't realize is it's really easy to back up your catalog these days. You file a ticket, request access to the full listing export listing report, download it, make the change that you need, and then just simply hit upload. It simplifies all of the problems. You can change it to full update status, and it really will really help you. Good afternoon to you too, Kevin. And by the way, guys, we have another show that's going to be hosted by Jason Master Mateo on Tuesdays. And next week, we're going to have a guest, and Jason's going to host Aaron, who has his own one-man band agency. He's doing quite well for himself. And Jason, after that, is going to be floating some Tuesday times to see what time is best for everybody. We're trying to catch a different crowd if we can. And Jason's also a Vendor Central expert, so he's going to do that on Tuesdays. So if you have a time that you want to see that, don't hesitate to leave a comment. Let me know what you think would be the best time to host those on Tuesdays. Jeff Allen, good to see you again, my friend. What is the difference between brand registry and Project Zero? Okay, let's break that down. Brand registry is control of your intellectual property on Amazon. So if you register a brand, you have to have a trademark. They will recognize it. They'll give you access to brand registry. Project Zero is different and generally not required or needed by 99% of accounts. Project Zero is the #1 way to break down or fix counterfeit product issues. I believe I only have 1 or 2 clients active in this program out of my 211 brands as of today that we work with. And so I don't think that most of you are going to need that. Now, if you have a major counterfeiting issue, and when I say counterfeit, I mean literal counterfeit, not just like a hijacker, but somebody is taking your wine glass product and selling their own wine glass on your listing, that's counterfeit. And if that's happening in mass, then Project Zero would be a good program for you. Uploading category listings reports has saved my ass this and last month. Every seller should get familiar with that process. So Karen also, when I answered Karen's question, I was talking about category listings report. Back up your data. So when you F it up, you can take that backup and re-upload it. So yes, very helpful. Do post index in search? I've been asked this question before. I never actually found out the answer. I don't think so. However, you never know. So I would definitely be using keywords in your social posts on Amazon because in theory, if it operates anything like Instagram, it will index eventually. If it doesn't index today, it will eventually. That I'm confident of. But does it help your SEO today? I don't know. It's really hard to say. If now in theory, if somebody, you make a social post and you talk about artisan soap, and then somebody clicks on the social post and goes to your product and buys it, that will help you regardless. So it's a no-brainer to be doing social posts to begin with, but do they help your ranking? Questionable, because I don't know. I don't know if that's possible. So great question coming in from Jeff. Got last one for today. He swears, I believe you, Jeff. Do you have an SOP for working, euphemism, with seller support either through email or phone? Trying to make sure I understand what Jeff's getting at here. How to work with them is probably the heart of the question. And I would say, in general, we hate phone calls with seller support. Doing a phone call with seller support is like praying to Jeff Bezos. Mr. Jeff Bezos, please solve my problem. Phone support stinks. It's terrible. Is it needed sometimes? Yes. In the most egregious situations of catalog troubleshooting, a phone call is often needed. Over the years, they've taken away many of the tools that the the catalog support central members had access to. And so it's harder to utilize them because they don't have the tools or the access or the views they used to. But can you get a good phone call here and there? Yes. So in terms of a working SOP to file tickets, I would say flood the system is generally the best practice. You have to know where to file the ticket. And when in doubt, if it's a catalog problem, file it in brand registry. All right. So let's go to Abdallah here. When trying to make sponsored brand video ads for my newly launched product, I can't find it to add it. So if you have a newly launched product, you probably have a brand node ID issue, and you need to file a ticket and ask them to fix your brand node ID. Make sure you have a brand store built, and make sure that the product itself has a UPC and is loaded. If you don't have the UPC loaded into the template and into the system, this is going to be your problem. I see that problem all of the time. Maz says, how many images need to be designed for the store? Is it just the cover image? Well, I mean, the brand store is a little easier to build than some of the others. My original video on YouTube is about how to build a brand store. It still holds up today from back in 2018. And the cover image is the one you have to design. So, you know, if you're trying to keep it on a budget, you could use Fiverr for that. We hope you use my Amazon guy, of course. But yeah, you can get away with non-design elements in the rest of it. Launching a new product in seasonal market, 100 clicks, 1 sale. So you got a 1% conversion rate. Wait, or should I lower the price, which is already low? So if it's a product launch, absolutely lower the price. Get the unit sales in. You can always raise the price like 7 days later. You need those sales. They're desperate in your first launch. So 1% conversion rate might just mean you've hit the wrong keywords. It also could just mean you don't have enough reviews. So lowering the price, best solution on product launch without a doubt. Amy says, when doing sponsored display campaign, which has better results, optimizing for impressions or conversions? I would say impressions have generally been favorable. I would not be surprised if that changes in the next 6 months and switches to conversion rates. And that's because I think Amazon's getting more sophisticated with their data and algorithm. But as of right now, I would say 60-40 favor for impression-based. Some of you might have better success with conversion. How to get the new release badge. So you have to have a high sales velocity in a subcategory. When I first launched my Age of Sage products in the smudge kits, you guys can go back to some of my videos in the late fall, early winter. I had a #1 new release badge on the smudge kits for incense, and that absolutely helped me launch this product and do well with it. Let's go to Amy. If other competitors are copying our actual product images and copy, what can we do about it? File trademark infringements and copyright infringements. Copyright's probably generally going to be the easier of the two if they're not actually using your trademark logo or brand name. Copyright infringements, though, that's the way to go. And you might have to file like 10 of them to get it to go down. That's pretty common. I had my Mama Glass Shark, my Mama Shark Needs a Drink product. And we have 1,700 reviews with a 5-star average. I've never done any review gen. And through all of these sales, we've had people come in and literally take our actual same design, and they'll just like make the fin like thinner or something really minor, and then they'll put it on their own listing. And so, if you go look at this category, Mama Shark wine glass, there is a lot of them, right? So very, very similar designs here, right? I'm coming up in organic position number 3 here. These guys might have been around before me. So we're all copying each other in this space, but you have to have a brand new design. You can't just go to market with an exact replica. You got to change the font. You got to do something, right? So we went with this. We've done really well with our product. Very, very different between all of the offerings. And so as I kind of scroll down here, sometimes it's interesting to just go back and see like how a category has developed over time. But yeah, I don't see anybody blatantly ripping me off today, which is always good to see. Maman says, new product launch. What variables to consider when deciding standalone listings versus variation? So I actually had a really in-depth coaching call on this week. It's a fantastic question. I love talking about parentage theory. There are a lot of variables to this question, but in short, when in doubt, parent your stuff. And some of you may or may not fully understand or grasp why. So I'm going to try and break that down a little bit. Parentage, which I'm going to pull up on screen and explain, is the connection of variations. And where is my parentage page on my flywheel? I'm struggling to find it. There it is. Services, listing optimization, parentage connection. So here we go. And we're going to redesign our website here too. We're trying to improve it, bring it into the new age. Maybe get rid of the black. I don't know. We'll see. All right. So here's the size parentage, right? Small, medium, large. Pretty basic. Quantity 1 and 2. Color variation, blue, red, etc. Flavor. You got different types of flavors. Then it gets a little bit more sophisticated, and we go into color size, right? I don't generally recommend dual parentages. I think generally speaking, they lower conversion rates because they're confusing to the consumer. But when it comes to tools and certain home appliance products, I do like them, which is why I have a lantern displayed here. Style variation. So style and size kind of a little close together. Amazon's a little hostile these days over to style variation. So it's not generally a best practice recommended. Color's my favorite. This is my favorite type of parentage. You'll see that on my listing, I'm kind of abusing the color variation. So if we go back over to Momster, a lot of my products are parented together via color parentage. And so, how does Amazon view that? Technically, it's the same color as you go through all these different products, but the text changes. So what would be, the letter of the law on that one? So we have seen Amazon get a little bit finicky about parentage the last year. Parentage breaking hasn't been as noisy in the last 3 months. It's kind of gone down a little bit, which is nice. But all right, so I went too much on the generic here. Let me answer the question specifically. What I would do is I would parent any new item with an old item whenever possible, just so they get the reviews combined. As soon as the listing is off the ground, you can then make a judgment call of whether to break it out on its own or not. If the velocity is high, break it out. If it's not, keep it in the parentage until it develops. The longer a non-developed item is connected to a developed item, the better off both products will typically be. Because the consumer might buy both. They might look at one but think the other's a better fit. There's a lot of AOV questions, a lot of conversion questions. And then the biggest reason why you want a separate listing instead of a parented listing is because of how search results work. So let me show and demonstrate this. So if I type in shark wine glass like this, you're going to see my listing come up organically. I don't know what rank, but eventually, if we scroll down enough, we'll find one. So let's switch the search. So I didn't rank for shark wine glass, but if I type in shark needs a drink wine glass, Let's see if I show up for that. There we are right there with a sponsored ad. And I'm not showing up organically on the fly here, so bad example. But the long and the short is you only will show up one time organically. So if you look at Uncle and Papa and Auntie right here, these three listings are going to be completely separate. These are not parented. If they were parented, they would only show up one time. When we go over to the listing, here you see not parented. So that's why you would want to separate out the listings. If you had two really good sellers, you generally want to separate them out because they can show up multiple times in the search results. So that was a really good question and good dialogue on that one. Let's go to the next member question here. Indexing for 1,700 organic keywords and 2,800 sponsored keywords running at 11% tacos overall. What should I do? So I would say you are doing quite well. The sponsored keywords are high proportionally. We usually like to see one sponsored product keyword for every two organic keywords. One sponsored, two organic. And you have almost the full reverse of that. So this means that your organic keywords are not as high as they should be. This doesn't mean you're overspending on ads. Your 11% tacos looks pretty good to me. It's on the low end of our target for 2022. We're targeting 11 to 14% tacos this year for most of our clients. And so if you're only at 1,700 organic, but capable of advertising on 2,800, you probably have one of a couple problems. You probably don't have enough copy in your A+ content, or you haven't developed your SEO enough. So I would spend some time working on SEO, not necessarily your PPC this coming week. Guys, today I can give away a free PickFu test. So if you would like me to run a PickFu test for you, and many of you are wondering, what is a PickFu test? This is where we run an A/B test. I'm going to put into the chat. If you want to do 50% off your own test, pickfu.com/myamazonguy. You'll buy me a Mexican Coke if you purchase that. Very small commission considering it's only $50 to run these things. But anyway, if you want me to run a free one for you, I've gotten special discount codes from PickFu today to run a test and live demo with you. So we've run all kinds of PickFu tests, and it's kind of fun to run these in live to show you like how I set one up, why we do it the way we do it. So here's a PickFu test we ran. This one was super obvious and shouldn't have been run. Of course, the dog is going to win. Who doesn't want to look at a dog, right? So there can be good tests. There can be bad tests that won't give you a lot of data. And I'm going to run one for you. So to qualify for me to be able to do this, here is what I propose today. Post in the chat your ASIN and your competitor's ASIN. This is the fastest way for us to do a PickFu test today on the fly. And we're going to show you the results in live. So if you're wondering if your product is better or worse than your competition, here is your chance. Post your ASIN and your competitor's ASIN into the chat right now. We'll run a PickFu test to see what 50 random people think about which one is better or the other. So I'll wait a few minutes, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and see what the chat gives us, and we'll pick one of them to do live today. This is completely free. We will be showing the results live to the audience, of course, so you got to be comfortable. I disable link sharing, so you have to post the ASIN as a heads up. All right, so, and if this is a successful exercise, we'll do this again, by the way. So scrolling down to see where we left off. Our health benefit terms: boost immune system, example, prevent cancer, enhance an energy level, banned from everywhere on the listing, including bullets, A+ content, and alt text. So these terms are extremely tricky to use on a listing. Generally speaking, I would avoid cancer. Energy levels are a little tricky as well. Immune system, very touchy. These are all really, really touchy words. I would not chance it personally. So if you really want to run these, try them with ads first to see if you can rank them for the advertising terms, but they're going to be low impression terms, generally speaking. Could they risk you getting your product deranked? Yes, that's generally the number one problem and why you would not want to do this. Nico, thank you for the $10 donation here. I remember you had previously mentioned that Amazon attribution tags do not track purchases from Facebook ads. Is that still the case? So they do track ads, just to be clear. I'll clarify that. They just don't track ads well. So there is an attribution program available. If you're going to run Facebook ads, I would use it. I just don't have a lot of faith in it. I think they'll track your clicks. I don't think they'll track the conversions effectively. They'll probably will drive some conversions, but you won't know how many. That's the challenge that you're going to have. So I think it's a tricky thing. We do have a guide on how to set up Amazon attribution, and I'm going to post the link in the chat so you guys can all check this out. So every time I try and find something for myself, all I do is go to Google, type in the problem, Amazon attribution, plus my Amazon guy. I'm trying to train you guys to do that as well. Here you go. Here's the program, and I'm just going to show you real quick like where to go to set it up. And let's see if I can find this. Well, playing this on the fly, not doing too well for us. But in any case, you follow these steps, you register at this link, you create a login, and then you start generating URLs. And then you put those URLs into your ads on those external platforms. So all of the steps are clearly written out here. New line item, search for the channel or the click-through URL type, click on it. And then after you do that, you're going to go add it to your social media. Like Facebook, for example, you can copy and paste the URL so it'll track everything for you. And you'll see the UTM code that's embedded. And here's an example of one that I set up for AdWords. And I was pushing to I think I was actually doing my hot sauce. So this was when I was trying to drive some external traffic to hot sauce to see if I could make it work. Some of you have heard my hot sauce story before. Basically, I launched this with 1,000 units, shipped in a pallet to Amazon, paid Amazon to do the prep work. They freaking shipped it out in padded envelopes. So be careful with your glass shipments. I would box them before they hit Amazon. So that's how we did it. But when I tested it out, I had a bad experience. We've never had a good experience for our clients. It's just a really tricky program to do. All right, so we have a PickFu participant that we'll probably do on the screen here. So here is one ASIN. I didn't see a companion ASIN, however. Mina gave us 2 ASINs. Let's see how theirs looks and see if they'd be a good candidate. So we're going to show you looking up these ASINs here. Bravo 097 TV 3HHC. See what that looks like. So we got a spotted armadillo. And make sure I use the right products, Mina. Keep me honest here. I'm pretty sure I'm on the right page. I just want to make sure I am. So, yep. Okay. ASIN's confirmed. We're good on that one. And we're going to go look at the competitor. Bravo 094 Frank Tango Tango 6 7 Victor. All right. And very similar product. So we got feet shots. Which feet do you want to smell today? Mr. PickFu test. I think this is a great test. So what we're going to try and figure out is which is going to get more clicks by the consumer. I want to see if you guys can guess the answer to this before we build a test. Do you think black is going to win with white socks, or do you think blue with gray socks is going to win? And I'm going to make a prediction here, and I'm going to vote blue. I think your competitors is going to win, Mina. And the reason is because of this blue attention to getting, like, they're showcasing how the product opens up. Yours does too, I can tell. But they make me think that this is a cooler product with only a 5-second judgment call. So we're going to go make the PickFu and do it together. And we'll see what the audience says. So what you're going to be able to see here is me create the poll from scratch. So pulling this up over here. We're going to build it from scratch. What photo do you like more? Or let's see. Here's my question. So I think I'm going to go with which product main image, or I guess let's do which product are you more likely to click on? Question mark. So which product are you more likely to click on? So we're going to go to the next step. We're going to do A. And what we're going to do for this is I got to download these to my computer here. So we're going to go right click, save image as. And that's going to be B, because that's the competitor. And we're going to look at U as the main. All right, so let's go over to, I'm going to drag and drop these in. Let's see if I did it correctly. So I got A is yours, B is the competitor. Okay. So I like to keep tests as simple as humanly possible. The more simple a test is, the more accurate the data will be. So we're asking a very basic question, and we're only going to test two options. You could do an ABCD test, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But after you run a bigger, broader test, you should rerun it with less options to confirm it makes sense. Okay. So we're going to do general audience. You can, however, custom audience targeting, but for speed, we're going to go general. And we're going to go for 50 on the next steps. We're going to get their gender, identity, age, and range and information. And we're going to go to next steps. You can do a lot of customization. We're going to make the poll public. Next step. Targeting, we're going to go general US-based audience size of 50. Which product are you more likely to click on? And that's because we want to know which one's going to get the clicks. So as you can see them really side by side right here. And I also noticed that the image on the right is a little bit more square. Kind of interesting. I don't know if that'll affect our results here. I think the white socks were a bad call. I think the white socks are not they don't make you feel good, right? Like, I think that's the number one problem with the main image on the left. So I think we're going to confirm here. We're going to proceed to checkout, and I'm going to put in a promo code. We're going to check out the results here, and then we're going to show you the results. Promo code apply. And that should allow us to complete our order. All right, so I just hit the complete on the order. We will come back to this in about 15 minutes, and we'll have a lot of data to look at. So hope you guys are excited to look at her product versus somebody else's. Let's see what comes up in the results. Stacy saying PickFu. Yes, my pronunciation. Sometimes I say things a little strangely. The guy that voices Iago on Aladdin, I forget his name. I never remember it. I relate to that guy because he once told a joke that some people say funny things. Other people say, or he says, things funny. And I say things funny a lot. So we got a couple of votes on blue with gray. Blue with gray. So audience polling, only 2 of you voted. But I think gray. I think the blue is going to win that. We'll find out. If you guys want to put your vote in, maybe you think I'm wrong. Maybe you think black's going to win. Put your vote in now before we look at the actual results, and we'll find out. All right, so I've lost my place on where we were in the chat, but Carl says, hey, man, curious to what you think, how this Ukraine and Russia. I knew somebody was going to bring this up today, and I was wondering whether I should preempt it and get it out of the way in the beginning. And I couldn't really make my mind up, but I'm not surprised somebody asked about it. So how will it affect Amazon? I will be honest. Nobody knows, but I will say this. I don't want to be selling in Europe right now. There's too many question marks on my mind. And if I'm thinking that way, a lot of other people are also going to be thinking that way. So you're going to see either one of two things happen. Either less competition in Europe, which would be favorable for those that do show up, or you're going to see logistics challenges with all the sanctions and the war going on. Can you get your shipments in there? Now, usually coming in from the West in Europe, I think, right? You're usually going through the water. So would the Ukraine-Russian situation, the war, affect Amazon in Europe? I think it will. I just don't know by how much. Now, Carl specifically calls out, will it affect US-based Amazon businesses? And usually worldwide events typically do affect US businesses. I have long been a proponent of make things in the USA. I think if enough events like this happen, let's say China invades Taiwan, let's say North Korea invades South Korea. I don't think that'll happen, but you know where I'm going with this. Like, if these world events transpire, then getting stuff out of China will be nigh impossible. And so if that were to happen, manufacturing would have to come back stateside. So those are the things I've thought through and kind of, mulled over. But in terms of immediate impact, I bet you probably soft impacts rest of this year. If it escalates, or if there are multiple other countries doing other things, you will see some escalations. So, all right, got the Ukraine-Russian question out of the way for the day, hopefully. Jason says, in A+ content and product inserts, is it beneficial to say that we're a Canadian company, or only do consumers care about where it's made? Well, I think in the US, people definitely care if something is US made. Would they care if it's Canadian made in the US? I don't know. I think there are probably more preference to buy, if they can't get US based, let me at least get Canadian based. I think that's the kind of the mentality we're going to probably see. Would it help you in Canada? Absolutely. There's going to be some patriots who are going to want to buy local and national versus the Chinesium that often shows up over in our purchasing. Good question. Same product, different sizing, and is it better to have separate listings? So I would say parent sizes together typically. If both of them are selling really well, though, just like we talked about in our parentage theory section, I would separate them out. All right, so let's go down to Jason. I have been experiencing more product performance quality is not up to my expectation returns, NCX at 10%. How concerned should I be that my listing will be suppressed? It's 100% going to get a problem. Anything over 4%, Amazon pays attention to. Go over 8%, they start restricting your listing. So kind of important. You're going to have to get that taken care of, Jason. So I would look at the feedback. Go look at the actual writings of it. Many of you have never been to the NCX page. Why don't we take a stroll on over into Seller Central and check that out together? So if you go into performance and account health, you'll get to this page. So this is my own Momster account. I have 0 problems on the account, no customer service issues, no compliance issues. Always nice to see. Voice of the customer, click on that. That brings us over to our NCX section. So actually do not know what CX stands for, but apparently it's customer experience. Who would have known? And anything that's in the very poor section with 10%, yours is probably on the very poor, Jason. This is when you can see a listing removed temporarily from Amazon. If it happens one time, you can just click the button and relist it. If it happens 2 times, they might ask for a plan of action. But if it happens 3 times, they will yank the listing and wait for manual review of your plan of action. So you got to be careful there. Pay attention to your voice of the customer. I would check this once every 30 days, even if you only check it for 2 minutes, just to take an eye on it. Make sure you're paying attention, because these things that are in fair right here, maybe these things in fair end up in poor or very poor over time, right? So I only have 1 issue on 25 orders on any of these. This one says damaged items. This one said missing parts. Makes sense with a decanter if like the top got broken or fell out of the packaging or something like that. Doesn't make sense when it's a single product, however. Typically, if I have an NCX problem, it's because the wrong product got shipped. That's generally what happens to me. Well, we've got 42 of our 50 responses on the PickFu. We're almost ready to reveal the result of that. If you haven't guessed yet, you can guess black or you can guess the blue. Which of the 2 items do you think is going to do better in the polling results? My My item sells for more than $50. I heard that electronics have return rates of up to 20%. Yeah, electronics have high return rates because people are just like, oh, that wasn't what I was looking for. Oh, that wasn't compatible with my computer. You name it. Can you have trademark brand names in alt text in A+ content? If you're talking about using a competitor's trademark in any form, I advise against it. Now, we run a 200 brand agency at My Amazon Guy. We are not capable of knowing every single trademarked phrase in the entire ecosystem. So I would say we frequently accidentally will use a competitor trademark in A+ content. We try and limit this. We try and reduce it. It's just guaranteed to happen, right? And so how often does a product get yanked for this problem? I've seen it one time in 12 months, one single time on 200 accounts. That's how rare it is. So I don't think that's going to be a problem you have to stay up and worry about. But if you know it's a trademark of your competitor, please don't use it. It's not worth the risk. All right, we got a super sticker from Nico we're going to jump to. Can I sell the same product under 2 different brands? Yes, you can, but Amazon may not appreciate it. If I were you and you were gonna do that, if I was gonna do what you were doing, I would do it and make sure it's as different as humanly possible, because using the same item on multiple listings is technically prohibited. But if you're trying to sell, I've been playing with this under the desk here while I've been shooting the live. This is a chirp wheel. This is one of our largest clients we work with. They have a fantastic product. I give them a plug because they're a freaking awesome product. I haven't had to go back to chiropractic or massage therapy after using this. So if your back hurts and you're watching this is like $50 to invest in your personal health. Go buy one of these. So if I was going to try and sell one of these to older women and one of these to hip young men, I'm obviously not doing this, but I might be tempted to make one listing to target each of those 2 target demographics. So that's when you might want to consider doing that, is if your 2 target demographics are so different, you have to discuss them completely separate on the listings. PickFu test is at 45 out of 50 responses. We almost have the full 50 in. Karen guesses blue. I think all of the guesses have been for blue. Blue with a gray is a 500K product for a reason. Blue and gray all day. So even if we didn't run the PickFu test, Mina, you would have been crushed. He has a black variation too. Should we have run black against black? Probably. That would be the next test to run. But I think what you're going to learn from this, Mina, is that blue is where it's at, and the way they positioned it is going to crush you. So yeah, the chat is just all in on blue here. So we have 45 of our results in. We'll reveal where we're at. We're at 47 now. While we wait for that, I'm going to scroll through a couple more questions. Let's go to Kara next here. How much of the backend search terms should they be for words that already are in the title and bullets versus having it completely unique words not on the live page? How much overlap should there be? So to answer that question, I'm going to give you a brief explanation of our phases that we run at My Amazon Guide. So in phase 1 of SEO, it's all about maximum indexing on the Amazon platform. You're going to 250 bytes. I make that motion for the mnemonic device because a lot of tools still have not corrected the fact that they're counting characters instead of bytes. So it's phase 1 is all about keyword indexing. And you don't want to repeat words. You don't want to have commas. We give the full guide out, by the way, for SEO phase 1. Just go to this page and download it. We give it out for free. The next phase is where we take the words out of the back end of search terms that are in pink. The pink word updates, what we call it. And these are words that are already present in your title and bullets. You can simply and safely remove them. I get a lot of questions. Well, why don't we do that in phase 1? Answer. If you keep them in phase 1, you will index for more words faster. The data shows it. So you should not run phase 2 until you've got to 1,000 keywords index. Once you've done that, you can then go to phase 2, try and get another 200 keywords indexed by rotating out the pink words and rotating in some new ones. This is the shortest phase, by the way. And then in phase 3, this is the strike zone update. You're going to take keywords in rank 20 through 50 and try and put them up to rank 1 through 10. And they're in the strike zone because they have a lot of value, but they're not producing much for you today. So you always want to run phase 3 repeatedly on a listing that generally has at least 50 keywords in ranks 20 through 50. You're ready for phase 3. Rotate your keywords, rotate the backend search terms, rotate your title, rotate your bullets, rotate the A+ content and the alt text to index. All right, so that's the basic introduction of SEO. We have free podcasts where we go in depth about all of this. Check them out on the website. We'll explain this in much greater detail. Some of the most groundbreaking work I've ever done has been about Amazon search engine optimization. All right, so let's check out, drum roll, here we go. And with no surprise, we got 48 of our votes in, but close enough. Option B with 37 to 11. And that is a crushing defeat. Competitor beat us. So let's see what the feedback says. First, let's see what people liked option A. This is the black, people that picked option A. Black product would fit more on homes. Outer material has more extremely high, and the poor Photoshop in option B looks like it's cheap. So that's interesting. So we're going to pin the black comment. Didn't like the Photoshop job. I like the color more. I like color more. So all the people that probably picked black here did so because of the color. This one says higher quality materials and stitching. So isn't it cool, guys? In less than 10 minutes, we have directional information about where to take a product. If I reran this test, I would do it black versus black to make it more fair. Sorry about that, Mina. But this is still directionally extremely helpful. Blue option for this footrest is nice combination, clean style. See how it works. Higher quality. I don't like the name Spotted Armadillo. Armadillo doesn't seem like a comfortable thing to put your feet on. All right, this is a very helpful feedback right here. So they took the time to read the tag, and they did not like Spotted Armadillo. So that's an interesting takeaway for your brand there, Mina. Elevated base from the bottom looks really nice, comfy. Image displaying the feature moving up and down, nice and eye-catching. I like the color more, so this person liked the blue more. Arrows showing you the feature. So without a doubt, people liked the arrow showing. The one I picked just looks more plush, more comfortable. Elevate up and down. Go well in any setting. Wider range of options. Demonstration and arrows. So we see a lot of that resonating theme here. So I'll kind of wrap up the PickFu test here so I don't bore the audience. Fabric, color. So basically what I see here, all about the color, all about the fabric, and all about the display of what the product can do. So I think without a doubt, you can take away from this that people like the arrows. They do. So if I was going to change your main image, that's what I would do. What do you guys think about doing the PickFu test today? Did you guys learn something from that? Let me know. Maybe some of you have never even seen a PickFu test before. But should I do that again next week is the feedback I need. All right. So should alt text in A+ content be treated like backend search terms, as in just a series of most important keywords? Or should alt text be for more important of exact match terms? I would go exact match, Karen. Alt text, it's not as important. It's not as, what's the word I'm looking for, where you need to do it, but it's not as impactful or finicky. Like, you don't have to be as precise with your alt text to have it make an impact. As long as you simply fill it out and put in words that are pertinent to your product, it will make an impact. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but it definitely needs to be filled in. Like that question. All right. So what's your advice if I can see running out of stock? Is it better to put my account on vacation or inactive, or is it the same thing? So if you're selling merchant fulfilled listings, this would matter. If you're FBA, don't do either. Don't go on vacation or set the account to inactive. I think that's pointless. Should you close a listing if you're about to stock out? Generally, I don't like to. I will just raise my prices and sell out slowly. That's what I do. Jahil's got a two-parter question. If I have two keywords running at 8% and 13% ACOS, what should be the better strategy to raise the bid without messing the ACOS up too much? I know rule of thumb is to leave it as is. If the ACOS is great, 35% target. So, Jahil, what I would do if I were you is just simply run a test slowly. So I would take your bid. Let's say your bid is $1 today. Change your bid to $1.05 or $1.10. Run it for 7 days. Look at the ACOS. Did it go up or did it go down? If it went down, raise the bid more. If it stayed the same, you may not need to do anything differently. Maybe run another test and raise it again. If the ACOS went up, you can always revert it and go back down and think about it that way. Now, if you have a 13% ACOS with that kind of product, you're either in an underdeveloped product category or you have an amazing product. And if that's the case, you might just want to create a second campaign with a higher bid and see if you can get a different result with it. All right. Part 2 of the ACOS question. My bid is 1.65, but the CPC for this week is at 1.04. Kind of confused me on how to maximize the spend because I know I'm missing out somewhere. So bid is 165. CPC for the week is at 1.4. So that means that the next biggest guy is probably bidding around $1, and you're bidding $1.04, effectively winning the bid auction. So you may not be able to improve your results, I think is the bottom line. Jahil, do you have video ads up? Do you have display ads up? Are you targeting ASINs with your campaigns and keywords? If you haven't done some of those other things, maybe instead of trying to improve your current campaign, what you need to do is add an additional segmentation. I'd also be curious to compare your auto campaign results to see if you have the same ACOS on the auto campaign as well. Karen says, my team wants to wait until we get our new brand videos from the creative team, though we currently have some pre-made okay looking videos. Should I keep pushing to get those videos up in the meantime? 100% yes, Karen. Like worst thing happens, you pause them if they don't work, right? What happens if your crappy videos outperform the new ones, though? Entirely possible. Just tell them you're A/B testing it, Karen, and just say, hey, this is the A. We'll bring in the B, and if you outproduce it, great. I'll give you a bonus. I'll buy you lunch. If it doesn't, though, good thing I ran the A version. So that's how I would handle that. The product Amazon is selling is different from what the listing is and what we are FBA. Amazon Vendor Central is underselling me on my listings. Our distribution is big, so I can't stop it that way. Should I trademark complain on Amazon? Seems risky to go against Amazon on Amazon. It actually does work on occasion, by the way. So I would risk it, Lucas. I really would. I would also run a test buy. And if you want to get super sophisticated, you can do one of two things. You can either have a lawyer send a discovery request subpoenaing and asking for who the seller is, or two, grab a invisible black marker, mark some boxes that are going out in the distribution network, and trace who is doing it and track them down that way. Depending on your scale, that may not be a very fun exercise. I've done it before, though, and it does work. So distribution control, definitely the least favorite thing for anybody to handle. Heard you mention to try one campaign with a $100 budget with multiple ad groups, 5-cent bids, $1 ad group target budget, automatic targeting. Yes, you got all that correct, Jeff. Can you review and go into details? So essentially what this campaign type does is it hits broadly shotgun a high SKU account. So if you have 10 or less SKUs, this campaign can be done, but it probably won't produce anything differently. What happens is an account will have 50 SKUs, 100 SKUs, and they forget to set up an auto campaign for every SKU. So if you just simply show up with a low bid, you're going to get some sales. You're going to get some impressions. These campaign structures do work, but they have a very is it low diminishing returns or high diminishing returns? What would be the correct statement here? But essentially, they have diminishing returns, right? They're not going to do very much for you. So I did a coaching call with somebody, and they made an extra, I think it was $17,000 a month after doing a $400 coaching call with me. And all we did was this one thing. They were pretty happy, as you can imagine. So it does work, and it works in mass. By the way, here's our official end results, 39-11, or 78% of people preferred this one over that. So this was a landslide on the PickFu test we ran. Maybe next week you'll tell us which ASIN you guys want us to test for the PickFu test. We'll do this again next week if you guys liked it. Let's go to the next question coming in from Jeffrey. Once a good performing keyword is isolated out of an auto campaign, don't do that, by the way, and placed into its own campaign. Your thoughts on the need to negate the exact match on that keyword in the auto campaign? Terrible idea. Why would you ever do something to harm a campaign that is working? Don't do that. It could perform worse in the auto campaign or in the manual campaign. That's why I'm saying that. So don't do that. Barack says, do you suggest adding more than one video, 2 or even 3 on a product page? Amazon hides one of the picture if you add 2 on mobile. So I would generally say it has no impact. That's my opinion. I don't have any data to support this. I just think that it's not helpful. I don't think the consumer is going to watch 2 videos. They're going to make their buying decision with only one. So it doesn't do you any good. Would I A/B test to see which video gives the consumer the best experience? Absolutely. That's exactly what I would do. What is the max amount of weeks you'd recommend we stay in stock at Amazon's facilities before it starts becoming diminishing returns with storage fees? Our products are small and light. Well, if they're small and light, there isn't any storage. So it's kind of inconsequential for you. But for the greater masses, I would say shoot for 6 weeks right now. When we get to July, I would go back to my 90-day mantra going into Q4 and ship crap in before it hits the fan and your IPI and your restock limits are too rough. Ship your Christmas stuff in July. It's Christmas in July. Because if you wait until October, you may not be able to ship it in. 2 years ago, I lost about 250 grand in potential sales because Amazon would not let me ship in more of my product. It was devastating. Sucked really bad. This year, I didn't have a problem. I was able to ship all my stuff in. My particular product category with wine glasses took a hit. 50% year over year, by the way. It went down 50 frickin' percent. Good thing I have my main income from the agency. Let's just put it that way. Really nice to meet you as well, Gulam. I appreciate that. Shout out. I think we might almost be caught up on member questions. I might be able to sneak in. Oh boy, there's actually a lot more member questions. I'm going to struggle to get to future member questions. So if you want to get your question in today, hit that join button on the channel. I might be able to sneak you in still. Money transfer service you use or recommend. I'm going to throw some shade. I think Payoneer is a piece of junk. Don't use Payoneer. I do like Veeam. Veeam has been very good to us and have had no problems. Transfer-wise, I've used it. Don't have an opinion either way, but I really like Veeam. V-E-E-M. Victor Echo Echo Mary. Check that one out. What point a freight forwarder may choose to palletize my shipment? Got 20 boxes coming, 10 from one supplier, 10 from another. This one's hard to do the math on without actually like having some more context. But when in doubt, if you can fill a pallet up and it's not your first shipment into Amazon, I would do a pallet. It's cheaper. It'll save you about 20% from my standard averages. If you're doing 2 pallets, the cost gets even better. If you're doing 16 pallets, it's like 70% savings. So the more pallets you're doing, the more the savings can stack up. Let's see. Can you have trademark names? Okay, I think we caught up to that one. Why are images getting auto compressed down so much? I'm uploading 2K by 2K pixel size and it's cutting each pic in half. I've seen this question before and I'm trying to remember how we solved it. I don't remember off the top of my head. Does anybody else remember how you solved this problem? Charlie, I'm just kind of wondering, are they JPEGs? Are they PNGs? Are they GIFs? Try a JPEG. I've had more success with JPEG than any other photo type. And I'm losing my voice, guys, so I'm going to be winding down here. All right, let's see if I can find another good couple of questions. Nico, yep, playing it safe. That's good. TGIF, hey, John. I'm a TGIM guy, by the way. I'm going to be in the minority on this one. I get bored on the weekends. I like the chaos of running an agency. It's fun. So thank God it's Monday. Jeff says, why go through PickFu rather than just A/B test on Amazon? Why not constantly test on Amazon? Jeff, did you see how freaking fast we just A/B tested that for less than $50? Why in the world would you want to wait 6 weeks for the data out of Seller Central? Like, kill me. Like, just I could make more. Like think about it. Let's say that we sell an item that has 100 units in sales per day, and I can increase my click-through rating on the product by 5% by just making this one change. Run the math. 100 units a day, 5% click-through rating, and assuming, let's just make the math easy, a 10% conversion rate. So, all right, now I got to really pull out the calculator here. Let's do this math together. Pull up the calculator, share the screen, and hopefully I don't embarrass myself. So we got to move the calculator. Okay, this works. All right, so 100 units a day. I said improve the click-through rating by 5% and a 10% conversion rate. So we got to know the click-through rating at 5% improvement. So let's say we got to simplify the math here. Let's say you get an extra 5 people looking at the product per day. Let's just go with that. Conversion rate's 10%. So if you normally sell 100 units and you're getting an extra 1 out of 10 people to buy it, that means you're going to produce a half a unit in sales per day. So you're going to go from 100 units. I didn't even use the calculator. I just did it all in my head. You're going to go to 100 units to 105, or half a percentage point in sales increase. Times that by, we're going to go with 45 days. Okay, so this is how many units with the increase. So we're going to get an extra 22 and a half units in sales by the test ending in the running. If we just put the winner in front to begin with, 22 and a half units over 45 days. And that was a conservative estimate. Now imagine if you could be making a much more significant impact. Clearly, speed to A/B testing makes a big, big difference. But good question, Jeff. Jeff and I have had a few conversations over the last year. Let's look for another couple of questions to end on today. Because crappy software tells us to. LOL. I think he was commenting on using PickFu, to be honest. All right. Heard you may try one campaign with a $100 budget with multiple ad groups. Yeah, we did that one. Sorry. I'm losing my steam, friends. I'm losing my steam. Really nice to see you once again. Thank you, Mohammed, coming out of Facebook there. Do I sell in the UK and is it worth it? Nope, it's not worth it. VAT fees are a problem. The war is a problem. Not worth it, in my opinion. Competitors blemish all of our listings by giving us half-star reviews. Amazon doesn't do anything about it. If you can prove this, you can make a really big case. So depending on how much impact, you might want to involve a lawyer. If it's not that big of an impact, document it and just report it after another, and ask Amazon to look into it. And if you get a really bad problem, you want me to throw some shade as well, send me an email with your case numbers, which product links, some screenshots of the reviews, and email it over to podcast@myamazonguy.com. I will be happy to take a look at it for free and potentially forward it on to the authorities over at Amazon. Do I know any master main image photographers? I do. So for those that don't know, we have a third-party services page at My Amazon Guy. If you go over to myamazonguy.com and you scroll down to the bottom in my footer, we have third-party services. These are people I have personally met. I don't necessarily fully endorse every product on this page, but I do have affiliate deals with many of them. I need to remove that one. I really like our photo service from two companies. One is Photos on White, or Products on White, and Fast Photography is the other one. If you order from these guys, they give me a 20% cut, which will buy me a Chipotle burrito. So I appreciate that in advance. So check it out. I'll put the link in the chat here, third-party services. And we've been making some changes to our homepage and our category page. So we're going for this peace of mind angle a little bit more these days. Let me know what you guys think about the peace of mind angle. We have a new press page. I've been on 30 radio interviews in the last 30 days. So we're collecting all the press right here. We also became a Helium 10 trusted partner this past week, which is really cool. So we've added their badge. I've been redesigning the homepage and making it kind of a little bit more pretty. Press page here, if you're curious where we've been in the news, Business Insider, Market Insider, Authority Magazine, a bunch of radio hits. I'm going to add these to the press page. You can just type in myamazonguy/PR if you're curious. Had a local Atlanta TV radio station. That was kind of a fun one. Did that with KC Pride. And then I've also listed everywhere I've been on somebody else's podcast. You want to hear the origin story, or you want to talk, you want to hear somebody ask me questions, you can check that out. We also have all the Ad Badger series on here. There's a lot of them. These are some of the best work we ever done. Michael Erickson at Ad Badger pulls out a ton of value out of me. So hope you guys check that out. Really appreciate the podcast today and the Q&A. Sorry I couldn't get to like 40 questions in queue. I do my best, but I'm out of steam. You guys all have a great weekend. Happy Friday. Stay safe out there. And we'll see you on Tuesday with Jason Master Mateo doing a live Q&A at noon on Tuesday. And then next week following that on Tuesday, he's going to take one in the evening. So if you're watching the replay here and you can never catch up to us because it's too early or too late for you, Jason Master Mateo is going to do a West Coast version on Tuesdays every week in the evening. My name is Stephen Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. We'll see you next week. Thanks so much.